I guess what we could start off with is just have each one of you introduce yourself, your title, what you do.
Sure, I'm Katy Hart. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at the BoxMaker.
My name is Kristi Duvall, and I'm the Vice President of Sales for the BoxMaker.
All right, well, then I'm just going to kick right into this. I'm going to ask you, Katy, what exactly does a typical day look like as a Director of Marketing?
Typical day, there really isn't a typical day. I wear a lot of hats and do a lot of different activities at the BoxMaker in my role. So a typical day, I do like to start off with inspiration. I subscribe to a lot of email marketing on purpose. I actually love newsletters. And so I'll spend a good 20 minutes of my day going through my favorites, figuring out what's going on in the world of marketing. I also subscribe to a lot of industry news. So that's where I'm mining for articles for social media and things that might be of interest for our clients or our coworkers. So I do spend a significant part of my morning when I'm drinking my coffee to get jazzed for the day, just finding inspiration, finding content. I typically have 3 or 4 meetings within a day, working with various people within the company, helping on marketing projects or helping with craft communications. And then it's just a lot of project work. So moving things forward in those times between the meetings, whether it's designing something for a faux brand as an example for marketing, or ordering samples from one of our clients, or working directly with a client, brainstorming on their own marketing and their packaging campaigns. And I serve 2 of our 3 lanes in the business. I work with the enterprise sales team, who Kristi leads up, and then I also work with our trade services team as well.
That's cool. Kind of interested in that one, faux brands.
Yeah, well, if we, need an example of something that we offer, but we don't have a great client example, or we don't have something that we're allowed to share, I will lean on my background as a graphic designer, or I will source it from somebody else and have them come up with probably an even better concept. But we'll develop a faux brand so that we can do a bunch of packaging iterations and show exactly what we want to show to help foster communication with clients.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's something a lot of printers are always struggling with, is having cool examples, because they do get stuck with that. Oh, can't share any of our client stuff. So now what do we do? And they end up usually do nothing.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to show off, especially in the world of digital print. We have such beautiful things that we can create with corrugated that people haven't seen before. So there's a lack of things that we can point to in the marketplace as well. So we just want to have a library available for our sales team to pull from, that's showing different things that we can do, whether it's, spot gloss or faux craft, variable data print. These are things that our clients are interested in. And so we want to have really robust examples of those things.
Kristi, are you excited about having a resource like that at your disposal?
Oh, I mean, Katy by far supports us in a way that I don't think most companies have access to. Part of what Katy does is she helps us show our customers what's possible. Because a lot of times customers have ideas about something, but they're not sure how to get it executed. They're thinking about their own resources. How are we going to do that? And I think that the samples provided from Katy really help us bring that together and show the customer it can be easy if you partner with the right company.
So that means, Katy, you have to stay on top of lots of different trends to be able to show what's possible.
Luckily, I'm interested in it. I'm a graphic design nerd, so it's fun for me. But definitely, we focus on serving a lot of CPG brands, a lot of food and beverage and consumer goods brands. And so I do like to follow those on social media. So it's in my feed anyway. I'm very active on LinkedIn and just try to find out what folks are doing from a bunch of different platforms, so that I'm aware of it and can communicate that out to our team.
You've been doing that role for a while. Are you surprised about where your marketing is compared to the rest of the industry?
Well, I think that our corner of print with corrugated packaging is catching on and catching up. We were definitely a leader in marketing, I think, a few years ago, and I think we are still a very strong marketer, but there's lots of great marketing coming out of the corrugated sector these days. So I've got a lot of peers that I can call on, which is really great. But print itself and print providers, I think are awesome marketers personally, because we have such fun things to show. So, when I go to D-Scoop or when I see printers in the marketplace, I think that their marketing is pretty great.
Darren, what do you think about that?
Well, I think the ones that do it well are really really good at it. I wish more of them, I think, took the initiative and made the resources and did it in a consistent way. I always thought the great irony was that all these printers and marketing services providers do a really good job every day of helping their clients with marketing challenges, and then sometimes kind of forget to do it themselves. But yeah, but it's a nice thing to notice on our end at D-Scoop whenever companies you can tell they're consistently trying to do it well, and they're using content as a vehicle to tell a larger story, not an advertising story, but a story about what customers need and how they can get it. And you guys do that really well. I don't know if everyone does, but you're not on your own soapbox. You're not on your own self-placed pedestal with your content. Things like your resources section on the New Look website, perfect example of that. I think you're positioned as a thought leader, and I wish more printers did that.
Thank you. We did work really hard on the website. I guess I would add to it, I think there's an opportunity for printers to do more on the digital marketing side of things, and we've had quite a focus on that at the BoxMaker. But the good news is that physical touch points are coming back. What we're finding is that people's inboxes are so crowded with email marketing. All of us receive tens, if not hundreds of emails a day, many of them marketing messages, but physical mailboxes are not having the same crowded competitiveness. So there's an opportunity for printers. I think, yes, you do need to do the digital. You need to be out there on your website, on social, and in email. You need to be doing those things. But the good news is that physical touch points also have, they still have a place, a very big place.
Oh, that leads me to the question. So what are you doing about that?
We have played with a few things this year. We run a series called BoxMaker University, which is a hybrid. We do some live events in person and we do some on demand, some live webinar content as well. This year we played with sending physical invitations to some of the more higher value target clients that we wanted to make sure attended those events. And those had a nice conversion rate. Compared to our email conversion rate, they actually had a higher conversion rate for those that we sent the physical to, because there's obviously a cost associated. We didn't do it. It wasn't a direct mail piece. It was a targeted, we hand mailed out personalized invitations to people. So there's a cost associated with that. So we didn't blast it out to all of the thousands of people on our mailing list. We did it to a few hundred that we really wanted to sign up. But they had a higher conversion rate than our email blasts did, which was pretty interesting.
That's cool. All right, Kristi, you've been vice president of sales long enough to experience some really interesting and challenging times. So what are some of the changes and things that you've done over the last couple of years to kind of react to some of those challenges?
Wow. Yeah, so I have been in my current role for almost 5 years. And but I've been with the company for almost 17. And so I've had a lot of different roles in the company, including being an enterprise frontline salesperson. And obviously the big change has been the requirement of adoption of technology for our sales team. Learning how to use technology, using it to their advantage, because a lot of our sales reps grew up selling brown boxes, about half of our team. And that's a very traditional way to go to market. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive around. I'm going to make cold calls. I'm going to deliver brochures. And, that just doesn't connect with people anymore. And so at the same time, the BoxMaker has evolved as a company. Our reps have had to adopt the use of technology, whether it be software that we use for a CRM, and also, evolve their understanding of materials and equipment and print capabilities. Really over the last 11 years, BoxMaker has really evolved as a digital print leader. And so through most of that, we did it with the existing sales team.
Wow. So even over the last 2 years, then did you see a big acceleration of the adoption, or was it pretty consistent? I'm just talking about COVID years and the fact that you couldn't visit people, but still had to obviously conduct some kind of business.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously the reps were forced to use virtual selling and, shipping samples to a customer or meeting outside to fit a product. I think a lot of them still struggle with that because they're more prone to do this in-person connection part. And I think people in general coming out of COVID are longing for that in-person connection after having been isolated for such a long time.
Do you think managing sales has gotten easier or harder?
It's just different, right? Because now we have different tools at our fingertips, measuring different things. You're measuring different metrics today than you were 5 years ago. When I talk to the president of our company, he frequently talks about how when he and I both sold and what it was like. And I have to remind him that it's not the same. Like, we can't use the same approach that we even used 5 years ago. You have to bring knowledge to your customer today. You can't just say, hey, I wonder if you buy boxes. Can I get an appointment with you? You have to bring, to your point earlier, the BoxMaker is really trying to position ourselves as a thought leader, whether it be through social media or through the marketing messages that Katy helps us put together, or the samples. Our reps have to bring that in the same way when they're connecting with a customer. And so it requires a lot more planning and preparation than I think most salespeople may have had to do in the past.
I think at the same time, we do try to make it as easy as possible, and that is one of the benefits of technology. And I think that the reps are starting to see how, they can basically take me on a call through, we use Microsoft Teams, things like that. So we're trying to collect those wins as they happen and remind the sales team or share them out to the sales team. When we have a win in our CRM when we have a win in our CRM that reinforces our alignment between marketing and sales, or makes their job easier somehow, or helps the sale move faster, Kristi does a great job of reminding the team about those wins on her monthly sales meetings. And so I think that we are seeing a shift finally.
Yeah, a couple of things that Katy just reminded me, in the same way that we do external case studies to share with clients, whether it be through social or marketing, we have to create internal case studies. And that's really what Katy is pointing to, is we have internal case studies that we share with the sales team to help them sort of put everything together in their mind about how they need to come prepared and what that does, what outcome that delivers.
Kristi, Katy just mentioned a monthly sales meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on what that entails?
Yeah. In fact, before COVID, each branch had its own sales meeting, its own agenda, what they talked about. And COVID united us more as a company because I started by having, I think it was like every week or every couple of weeks, we'd have like a snack hour, and we would get together once a week or once every couple of weeks and have just discussion about success stories and how are we connecting with customers in a virtual environment. And now we don't have those necessarily, but we're on a company-wide sales call to get all of the branch salespeople an understanding of what's going on in the business overall. How do their individual results tie to the company goal? Where are we succeeding? Where are we falling behind? What are the actions we need to take? I also host guests from other departments. So Katy is a guest host every month. She has some sort of marketing minute or so. We have our structural design manager come on, and he does like a design lesson, just a structural design lesson for the sales team. So I invite department heads to talk about it, and it gives the reps a broad company view.
Yeah, Kristi and Katy, either one of you can answer this question. I just have a follow-up about buyers today. It feels like to me the part of the magic of BoxMaker is that you can create anything. It's custom. It sort of starts with an idea that whatever you need to show client or do, if it's structurally possible, you can pull it off, which is really cool. That customness I feel like leads to, it seems more difficult to market that without samples, without case studies, without showing people that this is fabricated foam, or, this is where the label would go, or this is where the little flappy do might reside. How sophisticated are your customers today? Are they more sophisticated about those kinds of options, or not? And because it seems to me that the level of sophistication would sort of speak to how hard you have to sort of show like, what's possible.
It's such a wide gamut. I mean, we're selling to people in a wide range of generations. So the same connection points and success stories and case studies may not work depending on the experience level of the person that we're calling on, because we're calling on somebody from millennial all the way up to boomer. And, each of those people requires something different, right? Obviously, somebody with more experience, they're usually pretty set in their ways about what they want to see. And despite our efforts to bring them sometimes something more creative, it's like, yeah, I've already seen that. This is what I want. Make me what I asked for. Whereas, a less experienced buyer, doesn't mean by age, but just a less experienced buyer, they want to see all of the possibilities. And so that takes a lot of work, right? Because it's multiple designs, it's multiple layouts that they want to see, so they can truly make a decision that supports their company goals, which is ultimately, we're helping customers sell more product.
And I think how that translates into our marketing is at the top level, something like our website or our social media content, things that are very public and digital. Our communication, we try to be as simple as possible. We're explaining the basic concepts. We don't want to get too far down a rabbit hole because the audience is the widest on those channels. And then as we narrow the audience, when we're doing something like a PowerPoint presentation to a specific client, or we're talking to a specific industry at a targeted webinar that we've put together, that's when we start to focus the content and get more technical, more specific to their needs, and meet that buyer where they truly are.
Well, I'm glad you brought up your website, because that was one of the things that really got me to reach out to you. You guys sort of did an overhaul over the last couple of years. Can you just kind of remind me how you approached that, and what made you do that, and what was the process like?
Yeah, our previous website was launched in 2014, and it was a great website. It did a lot for us. It was a great website for our industry, particularly. But in 2020, Google released a significant change to their algorithm. And so we saw traffic that had been building consistently over the last several years, and we put a lot of effort into our blogging and our website content, just disappear overnight. It just plummeted. We had a lot in 2020, and then early 2021, it just went down, and it kept going down. So I said, whoa, we got to do something here. So right at the very beginning of 2021, we had been using HubSpot for quite some time to host the blog portion of our previous website, and the rest of the website was built on a different platform. For ease of use for myself, because I am a team of one, but also for consistent user experience, we decided to rebuild the entire website in HubSpot. So we spent the first part of the year, and honestly through most of the year, interviewing quite a few HubSpot specialists and firms to figure out who was going to be the best partner for us to rebuild our website. I was hoping initially for kind of a refresh, but really it was a complete redesign and a completely brand new site with some updated branding. So that was exciting. And we found a partner who was able to meet our needs. They had a pretty robust team to bring that consultative side to the project that, again, as a limited bandwidth person, I really needed to find somebody. We needed to find somebody who was going to be able to consult us on a lot of the questions that we had about the direction to take the website in. So we selected them, and then from there, it was about a 4 to 5 month build, revamping all of the content, optimizing for SEO, figuring out keywords, and then actually just building and populating the website. I think it took about 5 months, and we ended up launching in June of this year. And things have been good since then. We've reallocated some of our marketing time to focus more on account-based marketing, where in the past we've focused on inbound marketing. So I'm hoping in 23 that I'm able to find greater balance between those two things so that I can continue to build the website content as I had done in the past. But it's just really nice to have a brand new car, if you will, that works. It doesn't have to go in the shop anytime soon, and it can get us where we want to go on a daily basis.
And Kristi, what do you think of HubSpot and all that comes along with it?
Well, I love HubSpot. I think the most difficult thing is, just getting full adoption. One of the greatest things about the BoxMaker is that we have a lot of long-term coworkers. Lots of people have been with us for, 10, 20 years. But with that also comes, we've always done it this way. Why do we need this? Why do we need this CRM thing? I have a legal pad and a pen. I'm good. And so, getting full adoption has been a real challenge. But, I think as I have shared with the sales team and the sales leadership, how I'm using those metrics and how we're using that to drive decisions for the business has really helped further the adoption. And, as we look into 2023, people have a better understanding of how we're going to use it and what is it going to do for the rep. I mean, that's really what the reps want to know. Like, what's this going to do for me? I've been using my Excel spreadsheet for 15 years. And so I just sent a survey out to my sales team. And I have 17 reps across 6 locations. And of like 90% of respondents said that they want more training on HubSpot. And when I reached out to those that have responded asking for specifics about what are they looking for, they said, I just want to understand how is it going to help me manage my business? And ultimately, it's going to help them forecast their commissions, help them focus on the things that are important and not the urgent. That's where sales reps often get caught up, right? Something caught on fire and they go deal with it. And then the prospecting and the business development kind of goes out the window.
Are you surprised by the survey results?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at the survey results, and I've gotten really constructive feedback. I think I told the sales team multiple times, like our monthly sales meeting for December, I completely redid it. I gave them the company results, but I got to one slide in the presentation and just said, this is where I normally talk about HubSpot, but yet I keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and it's not working. And so I, said I'm looking for feedback because these are investments that the company's made. They're not going away. But I need feedback from you about how you can better utilize these tools because they are here for you and for us to run the business. And I think the reps just want more individualized attention, much like our customers do, right? They want everything personalized and catered to their needs. And we have to think about that from an employee standpoint too.
So at the end of the day, has it strengthened? Has the technology strengthened the collaboration between marketing and sales, you think?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Through HubSpot empowers me to work directly with the reps on a lot of things that previously I couldn't see. I didn't have visibility into what was going on our key accounts, and now I do. And so I might just stumble upon something and see it and have an idea, all the way to, the very basic things or things that we may take for granted, like aligning marketing messaging to the right target audience. Those things we were kind of shooting in the dark before we had the CRM, but it makes it so easy.
And I'll just say, even with all of the technology that we use, we still have to have team members that collaborate and communicate on a regular basis, and nothing will replace that. And I think that over the last year, Katy and I have collaborated much more closely and just made time to meet, made time to plan, talking about goals. Like the communication part is super important in conjunction with the technology.
Has the technology scared anyone about communicating? Like, do they feel as though part of their job is being taken away? Like, is there like there's a certain amount of pride that some sales people have in that I created this sale, that the attribution is me, the salesperson, versus, there is a not combative, but sometimes slightly adversarial relationship between marketing and sales in that respect, in that they're earning a commission and that they want to have earned that entire commission and not say that it was marketing driven. Is there any kind of pushback on that?
I don't think so. I mean, not in the way you're describing, like not where reps want to say, well, hey, I want all the credit for this. I mean, I think part of the sales culture that I've really worked to build over the last 5 years is we are all part of the same team. And so if the rep wins, the company wins. If more reps win, the company wins. And so we're all in this together. It's a very unique sales environment. When I hire new people into the sales organization that came from somewhere else, a lot of sales organizations are very cutthroat. You have reps within the same company and the same team, like fighting over accounts. And while we used to have that when I was a rep, we don't really have that today. Like we're all in it together. And I think that goes for collaborating with marketing.
I think also we do a nice job of, as soon as there's a human connection to be made with that prospect or that contact, the rep is that human contact. We're not having a handoff somewhere farther down the line in the sales cycle. We're getting that rep involved right at the beginning, and marketing just comes along with it, kind of powering them from the backstage, if you will. So the rep is always owning the relationship right from the beginning, and I think that gives them, that avoids any of the type of conflict that other companies might be seeing.
So you fostered a nice team-like process. It sounds like it took a while.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to give anybody advice who wants to create a more team sales type process in their organization, what is your biggest suggestion?
I would say for me, about when I think back about how I started to build this, it was really making sure that everybody on my teams understood how their work tied to the bigger goal for their department, and then how it tied to the company, and ultimately how that tied to delivering success for a customer. And I think as over time, as we were able to show examples of how we did that for people, I think that is really the foundation that started to build that.
All right, I'm gonna take a step back and ask a question about something, Katy, that you mentioned earlier, which was BoxMaker University. Can you explain a little bit about the genesis of the BoxMaker University and results and kind of how you approach that?
Yeah, BoxMaker University is something that was an existing program when I joined the BoxMaker in 2016. And at that time, it existed as primarily a lunch and learn series. So we would offer in-person, 45-minute to an hour classes, buy everybody lunch, and bring them in and speak about a specific topic. We've been doing that program for a few years, and then 2020 happened, so we had to go remote. And prior to the pandemic, success at a BoxMaker University looked like, maybe 10 attendees, which is a nice size of group to have those deeper conversations. And I think that's the success of the in-person lunch and learn version of BoxU. But we had to do something different, which we are great at the BoxMaker. When the pandemic hit, like so many companies, we had to go virtual. So I also went on maternity leave in 2020, right as the pandemic began. So we kind of had a lull. And then when I came back that summer, we had to do something. So we actually launched BoxMaker University Summer Camp, and that was a full 1-week virtual experience. And we had brand new webinars that people could tune into. And we also had pre-recorded some of our older classes, and we had those as on-demand webinars. So that began a library that now lives on our website that anybody can go to, and they can watch a ton of videos on demand to learn about a wide variety of packaging topics. And since then, it's really just been hybrid. So we did bring back in-person BoxMaker universities. I believe that we did it just this year. I don't think we did in-person in 21. So in 22, we did in-person BoxUs at all of our branches in the spring and in the fall. And then in the summer, we still had summer camp. Summer camp was our biggest attendance yet. I think we had over 200% growth in our audience from the prior year. So it was very successful this year, and we look forward to doing that again. Something that we're going to be doing different in 23 is we're going to be offering more regular webinars throughout the year, because research is showing that as much as people want to come back to in-person events, I think we've gotten used to maybe we're not going into the office every day, we're not traveling, so we've still got a lot of people working from home or doing hybrid work, and virtual events are just easier for people. So we get more engagement still, even though people, can and are looking forward to seeing each other in person. Those live events have to be a lot more strategic in who we offer them to, because just blanket live events we're not getting the same number of people signing up that we used to. So we'll be offering the live events in person in a more targeted way in 23. And then my hope is that we're doing at least monthly webinars on various topics that honestly might be more like a podcast format, where we're interviewing somebody from the industry, or we're interviewing somebody from our team or on the client side, so that there's, one topic that somebody can log on around their lunch hour and just learn something while they eat their sandwich.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I love doing BoxMaker University. I think that it gives us a chance to showcase what we can do for clients, but it's also, it's not a sales platform. Yes, we do have conversations that generate from BoxU, and those lead to sales. Obviously, that's why we do it. But it's just an opportunity to be a trusted advisor to our attendees and our clients, and give them something that they didn't have before that they can then take and use to better their business.
Have internal employees been excited about it? Do they want to be, I want to jump into the university? Is anybody piping up saying they want to teach or be part of it?
Always room for more on that side of things. They definitely sign up. So we're actually hosting a BoxU later this afternoon, and about half of people who have signed up are coworkers. So it's a great way for them to learn as well. And everything that we have on our website, we also have internally, so that coworkers can watch those videos at any time. So it has been an onboarding tool as well. When we hire new people in production or to one of our teams, they can go watch, the BoxUs that apply to their part of the business.
That's super cool. That's it. All right. Wow. Hey, what are your big plans for 2023?
Growth. I mean, we're going into a period that's, we're likely to see some deflation. Just so much pressure on supply chain teams to cut costs. All the overbuying that they've done over the last couple of years and stocking up on inventory. And now companies are looking to make changes to that to begin to bring costs back in alignment with their business. But despite all of that, my team is still expected to grow. So it's really focused, aligning the efforts that Katy puts in, having the reps use all of the tools available that she mentioned earlier today, like the case studies and the samples and the account-based marketing, and having a more strategic plan around growth for each rep and each region, and really just executing on that to deliver growth.
How about you, Katy?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier and Kristi mentioned it as well. The account-based marketing is something that's fairly new to us at the BoxMaker, but that is where we're seeing a lot of success on the enterprise sales side of things. And so we're going to be putting a lot more energy into that next year. Like I mentioned, I really do want to be able to contribute more regularly to the website. I haven't been doing a great job, honestly, over the past few months. So having those regular BoxMaker universities will be a way to do that. So I'm looking forward to that. And just being consistently available and pushing out content that is of value to our audience. That's what we're really going to be focusing on next year.
That's awesome. And this is going to be a sideways question only because you mentioned it a couple times now and I didn't pull on this thread earlier. What does account-based marketing look like in the process of what you do?
Sure. So account-based marketing is focused on winning sales in our target accounts. So in HubSpot, you're able to not only identify target accounts within the list of businesses that you have in the system, but you're also able to tier those accounts. So based on who we're targeting and what the priority is, that determines what level of account-based marketing we will be serving them with, whether it's one to few, so targeting a specific industry and the companies within that industry with messaging specifically built for them, or if it's one to one, we're going into a big account and we are fully dedicating a resource to specifically build out content and samples that are just for them. So it's a range of things, but at the end of the day, what it is it's marketing and sales walking hand in hand to win the business in the account.
And I'm curious, when you target one of those accounts, is a particular salesperson or team are they assigned to that target, or is it more collective where all hands on deck, anybody who's associated with this target, let's jump into this? Or how does that work? I'm just curious.
Well, I have parameters around target accounts from a dollar perspective. So what's the potential dollars we think this client could spend with us? What's their annual revenue? What are the kinds of products they're likely to purchase from us? And then those are assigned within each region's sales teams to a specific rep. And so they're so each rep is working hand in hand with their regional sales manager and Katy about creating the strategy. What are the things we're going to do? Who have we met with? Who do we know? Who do we need to get to know? And then what are the activities that we need to execute? And then, working alongside Katy. And then generally sometimes I'm part of the calls and sometimes I'm just informed.
All right. Well, thank you both for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for asking. It's great.
Absolutely.